So first of all, I want to, as we're going ahead and we're getting started here. Number one, the Jimmy Collins episode, caused me to listen to the Dropkick Murphys song about Jimmy's wake.
Yeah.
And read the lyrics as I was listening to it, as every good person who appreciates music does. And Dad, I got to compliment you. It's a fantastic story.
Would never have had it without Brian telling me about it.
I think every wake should be standing up the dead body and holding something of significance from their life. I will be most likely holding a cheeseburger. I love cheeseburgers. And so compliments that. Brendan, congratulations on the Shorthanded podcast. It's exciting to listen to. It's actually put me in the green for once in my life on sports betting.
That's not a good thing. I
want to thank you for that.
Certainly not picking
you've turned my son into a junkie. He now is checking the lines on every sport and wants to know what's the most value we can get for a $5 bet on FanDuel.
The best part about the podcast with your son is that it allows us to record his wins and losses. So most people only remember the wins. We are recording everything. So I may pick a game right here or there, and he may pick a game right here or there. We only remember the wins. Luckily, we have it recorded to say your record's about 500, which is typically what it ends up being.
Right.
So here we are at Swing Batter. Rounding third and shorthanded. We have several shows. Batter Sports is growing, which is really fantastic news. I wanted to start this episode off of Swing Batter with the Fabulous Five. I don't call them the Fabulous Five. I call them the Batter Five.
Oh, boy.
I release the Batter Five every Monday, every Sunday night. I look at the teams that I think are the worst five in baseball for the week or so far for the year. And I have listed, because it's my rules, 6 teams, 1 through 5. You probably haven't read the article, but I will let you guess which team is number 1 on this week's Batter 5.
I actually read the article, but go ahead. I won't take your thunder, Brendan.
Fantastic.
Wait, this is an article you wrote?
Really hard. A lot of words. It's a list.
You wrote the article.
I just wrote.
Yeah, it's kind of like a children's book.
Yes.
There's a lot more pictures than there are words.
I'm all for that.
I'm a big first grader kind of mentality.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Higher education is.
You got 3 articles in there that look so good. I didn't recognize. It's great.
Yeah.
What is it on? Is it on the website?
It may be. It may be on the website.
Brendan sent an email with all 3 articles, links to all 3 articles.
As you
I
can
don't
tell,
want to read an email. I want to go to the website and
as you
look
can
at
tell, we're all very attuned into our entire network. So at battersports.com, at the news, you can read the articles. You can read Aiden's articles up, my articles up. But here's the Batter 5, just for everybody. Taking too long to get to it, so I'll just go right into it. Number 1,
Go for it.
still number 1 is the Colorado Rockies. They are number 1, even though they won 2 games.
By the way, they won the 2 games right after we recorded the episode talking about how that's absolutely horrible they are.
They're still horrible. They have 6 wins. They're still number 1. Number 2, and I really am proud of this team because they came out of nowhere last week, and they are dedicated, and they put the best player who will not be an all-star, Hall of Famer, if you will. Mike Trout is now on the injured list. The Angels are number 2, and they are flying high. They are so bad, they're making the AL West run away from them. And that is
Wait,
hard.
you say in the article here he's got a $98 million payroll?
The Angels have an active. That's the active payroll.
So Trout's not in that.
He may be injured. That's maybe possible. I just looked at the active payroll. That's what I'm looking at. The next team is the Miami Marlins. They are impressive to me because they have allowed, I believe, the most runs in all of baseball, and they get to play the Dodgers this week. So the Dodgers will be a plus 1,000 at the end of this week because they're facing off the Marlins. And I'm sure the Dodgers are going to struggle hitting. The struggling Dodgers, who didn't make the list. Number 4.
By the way, the Dodgers are up 7-1 right now.
Shocking development.
I have a question about Miami. Can I ask this?
You can ask whatever you want. This is the batter
Don't
five.
they have one of the best pitchers in baseball, Alcantara? Is he hurt or something? Because
He was like 3 years ago.
Oh,
It's kind of like, Dad, you remember Willie Mays? He was really good, but if he played today, he wouldn't be so good.
Mostly because
hard to play from a coffin.
mostly because he's dead.
You know who would sign Willie Mays? The Angels. The Angels would sign Willie Mays today, and they would have an Angel Willie Mays Day, and they would bring him right out of the ground, and they would say, "Here's Willie Mays." And
all the gone with Greg Maddux.
All of the fans would have showed up for the Angels to see Willie Mays Days, because that's what LA is about. Fake hype. They love the fake hype. Number 4 is the Pirates. The Pirates are just...
Oh, come on. Really?
Pirates have 12 wins. They're not doing so hot. They've had a rough go of it, and they struggle with a lot of items.
Oh, wait, this is good. This will drive the value down so we can buy them.
Their value is still going to be $1 billion. But anyways, the Pirates are the Pirates. I have a tie for 5th. And my 5th place tie are the Baltimore Orioles, because I'm so disgusted with how they've started the year, even though they're 4-6 in their last 10, which is marvelous for this team the way they've started. And the Texas Rangers, who are the 2nd in Major League Baseball in runs scored, 2nd to worst in the least amount of runs scored, only to the Colorado Rockies, which is an achievement for this Rangers lineup. The Texas Rangers are in 4th, the Baltimore Orioles are in 5th, Pirates are in 5th, Miami's in 5th, the Angels are in 5th, the Rockies are in 5th, and the one team you did not hear in my batter 5 is the Chicago White Sox, because they are...
What's up with that?
They're 5-5 in their last 10, and they are screaming out of the cellar. They have 10 wins, Todd, and they are just cruising. If you look at this team, they are not in the bottom of the order for runs allowed, or they do score. These 5/6 teams are struggling mightily. Do I expect Baltimore and Texas to be there for a long time? Probably not. But we'll tune in next week to see who's in the batter 5. But that's my batter 5 of the week.
You know what?
I have an honorable mention I need to throw in here, that you've really missed this absolute stinker, because you're, number 1, you're West Coast biased.
Okay.
Number 2, you're American League biased, obviously.
I'm American League because I don't have enough American Leagues?
The Atlanta Braves are hot garbage. That team is falling apart. It was constructed to perfection, and we had our rule that you never trade with the Atlanta Braves. Look at what they're doing this season. They're a disaster. If it wasn't for Miami, they wouldn't exist. Like, what are they, 15-18?
The first week of the year, sure, they would have made my list, but they're 6-4 in their last 10. And their record currently is 15-18, based on a 2-8 record. That puts them at, I believe it's 13-8 over those last period of games. That's not terrible.
Oh, God. You know who was approved?
Approved for what?
Cleared to rehab?
Cleared for rehab?
Acuna.
Yeah. Don't sleep on the Braves.
I think
you got to his brother's getting all the attention.
Do you remember the scene in Step Brothers, Dad? Do you remember the movie Step Brothers? Did you watch it?
Sure.
Okay, do you remember the scene where they're trying to not sell the house so they fake deaths? Todd is currently wrapping the Atlanta Braves up like they're dead. And he's like, why would you cheer for this team? Why would this team's dead?
Why are you here?
We're not even 40
died last night.
And
as much
fun is dead.
As much fun as we make of the Rockies, their accomplishment so far is amazing. Did you tell me they have scored the least runs in baseball?
They're currently sitting with the least runs in it. Again,
they play in Colorado.
They're not close. They're 106 runs. Second to last is the Rangers with 113, which is a screaming 7 runs more. What's crazy is the Pittsburgh Pirates are a run higher than the Rangers with 114. The Rangers are so bad at scoring runs.
They're behind the Pirates.
And they're trying to tie the Rockies.
The Rockies are -89. The question is, like, who's going to break -100 first?
Here's my point about the White Sox. The White Sox are a -24. They have only allowed 100.
You saw that, right?
They have only allowed 148 runs, and they have scored 124. That is legitimately not bad. They're not a batter 5 team the way they are currently playing and constructed. These other teams Miami has allowed, oh, geez, where's my numbers here? Miami's has allowed 201 runs. First team to get to 200 runs allowed. The Miami.
You're looking at.
They had a walk-off grand slam, though. That was a good play.
Miami can score. Miami can score. They have scored. They have 147 runs scored. So they're scoring. If the Texas Rangers scored like Miami, they would probably have 5 more wins.
You know,
Yeah.
What you're doing is accurate, is that you're looking like at an X-ray when you look at the run differential, score, and all that stuff. But the outside photo will show you the second worst record in baseball is the White Sox.
Absolutely.
They only lead the Rockies.
But the last 10 games, they started 4.
Yeah, this is his point.
This is the batter 5 of the week. They're 5-5. Last week, they've been great. If the Rockies continue to win, they have a chance to get out of it. However, they don't continue to win because we've seen them time and again.
You said Rockies?
The Rockies. Let's just say they go 5.
The White Sox.
No, the White Sox aren't even in my batter 5. Forget them. I'm saying the Rockies are number 1. Can they get out of the batter 5 of the week? Absolutely. You go for 5 for 5. You have a good 10-game stretch. You're going to get out of the batter 5.
Stop.
Todd,
you keep saying this like you're in Denver smoking the Habibi.
I just need to tell you how epic the Angels are at this. Like, if you were to say, again, I compared them to the Titanic scene where she chops the diamond off the end of the ship and it's like it's over. How fast the Angels go from have a winning record, which they did. They started the season with a winning record. They've gone 2-8 in their last 10. And Todd, I really want to give you a lot of credit in our episode. And for those that didn't watch it, we should just cut it up and just say, we're going to talk about Mike Trout because we should have an episode just about Mike Trout. Not only is the Hall of Fame in jeopardy, he's injured again, running to first.
Yeah.
He is not playing, which means the good news is his strikeout total has gone down in comparison to the other players who keep playing. Right. He's still batting 179. If you look at this package the way it is and the way that you projected him to be, he's got to find health very quickly, and he's got to put together another 5 years of solid baseball
to compile.
And right now, the last 5 years have been brutal on his body. He's injured again, and how he got injured is bad because it's his knee running to first. I don't like that. If it was a hamstring, I would be okay with that because you can heal that up. Once you start looking at the structures, it's like, this is not good. The fact that Mike Trout, who was discussed as one of the best players in the game of baseball,
in his generation,
generational talent, to not even, if he ends and he's not even in the Hall of Fame, our children will be like, who's Mike Trout? Because that's what's going to happen because these numbers are bad.
For a guy turning 34, like that's the part. If he's 29, and the numbers were close to this at 29, that's when it was like he's making 500 easy. He's making 2,000 hits easy. He's making 1,500, 2,000 RBI. Not hitting it.
Nope.
It's not hitting it.
Nope. And so the Angels to me are clear number 2, and their effort, the effort of the entire team to be this bad.
He's in this group of batters that were great, but not in long enough careers. Think Albert Bell.
Dale Murphy.
Yeah.
I think better of Albert Bell because Albert Bell drop-off was immediate. It was this drop-off from Mike Trout, the reason why it's just these, it was the thumb, it was this piece, it was that, it's just been little parts. Albert Bell was kind of like Prince Fielder. Detrimental injury to the body, sad story, huge, awesome player. This is what happened. I'm watching Mike Trout fall apart like a Lego figure.
Yeah. Think about it this way. So Baseball Reference has this thing where it talks about similarity scores by age, right? And so it goes through the age of the player and who he was most similar to at that age. So at 21, he was most similar to Frank Robinson,
Wow.
22, most similar to Juan Soto. 23 and 24, Mickey Mantle.
Holy cow.
25 and 26, Frank Robinson. 27 again, Mickey Mantle. 28, Frank Robinson. Then 29, 30, and 31, Duke Snider, Duke Snider, Duke Snider. 32, Dick Allen. Okay? All great. I think all Hall of Famers. Okay? All Hall of Famers. The only one who wasn't a Hall of Famer was Vada Pinson at age 20, but that the career longevity thing. But he's through age 32 is great. The problem is he's 33 turning 34, and it is dramatically falling off. He's benefiting from the fact that he front loaded in his 20s so many massive numbers.
They were massive.
So many massive.
They were massive. But the problem is that he's not even putting up Albert Pujols like numbers with the Angels.
He's not putting any numbers on,
No.
he's on the DL.
No, and he hasn't been playing a lot of games. Again, it's a travesty from a standpoint of watching him be great to watching him now. But I think you're onto a really good golden nugget of swing batter because of the contract, because of how he's played with this contract, and then also how it's going to end. Do we cheer for players to get injured? No. But from my viewpoint, when I look at what I'm watching, he is not where he used to be, and it's not even close.
What does he have to do, Dad, and just historical, help me out with this. Give me the numbers. His batting average, his career batting average right now is 297. What does he have to do for the remainder of his career to be considered for the Hall of Fame? He's got 387 home runs. Where does he have to land with home runs to be considered for the Hall of Fame?
Well, batting average isn't bad at 297.
No, it's not.
He's ahead of Scott Rowland.
Right, yeah.
But I just, the problem is the projection going forward is so bad. I mean, if he came back and hit 350, or he batted over 300 for 3 years in a row, get his lifetime.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if he gets the home run total to 450.
Well, 500 is a magic number, but
that's 63 more home runs.
No, I mean, if he could get healthy, he's not 38 years old, and put together 3 good years, 40 home runs in each year, I'd get him to 500.
Right.
And then, it's 300. So it's too early to have a funeral, but the prognosis is not good.
Well, he's got 972 RBIs.
Here's my biggest issue about this year.
No. Listen, hear me out. He had 972 RBIs and 1667 hits. Like, does he have to get to 2,000 hits? Because it was, what was always the automatic for the Hall of Fame? You had 2,000, well, 3,000 was the automatic, right? But if you didn't have 2,000 hits, it was like, you can't talk Hall of Fame.
I don't think so.
Right? So, I mean, like 400 home runs to at least have the conversation, 500 and you're in. And then RBI, you can't get into the Hall of Fame without 1,500 RBI.
Yeah, it's
1,200, 1,250.
Well, it depends. If you're a leadoff hitter, it's Ricky Henderson or somebody, but Ricky Henderson had a lot of home runs.
That's not what you're talking about with him.
I know.
Ricky Henderson didn't have these injuries. That's the problem, is they've been on different parts. And my biggest issue that I've seen in the start of this year, and he hasn't played a lot of games, but his 179 average is striking. That's really bad.
Well, mix that with all the strikeouts.
It's really bad. And I never knew Mike Trout to be a big strikeout guy, but he was always an average guy. Like, if you look at his career, he was never below 200. And his career is 297 for a reason.
So at this point now, to me, it's a very, very sad story.
I would agree with you. I don't think this is a good story.
No, right now he's David Wright. Except for the home runs. David Wright had 242 home runs, but he had 1,700 hits, 970 RBIs. So virtually the same numbers. The same numbers.
And he's still got several years left on his contract.
Yeah. And David Wright at 33 got injured, couldn't play anymore.
Yeah.
But the argument could be made as a third baseman, especially Scott Rowland going in, give me this garbage, that David Wright had played through 36, 37 years old, put together DH. Guy's hitting 400 home runs.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, he's just going to end up being a DH. I just can't imagine his swing going away forever. I just can't imagine that. I just think he should find it again. But I think that, but just because I want it to happen, just because I think it should happen, doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
So with him getting injured again, it was like red flag, the strikeouts, red flag, and then the average, red flag. And it's like, this is not a good start of 2025 for Mike Trout. And if I look back in my memory bank, the last 4 years, we haven't had a good story about Mike Trout.
Nope.
So, again, baseball is about longevity, and that's not happening. The only other note that I want to make of baseball for getting to batter 5 for a minute, one of the things that we need to highlight is the Detroit Tigers are not only leading the AL in their record, but they are also leading the AL in the run differential of a plus 63. Their pitching has been very, very good. Very, very good. Hitting has been good as well.
Yeah, much needs to be said about the Tigers.
They are not an easy team. The AL Central has a legitimate rocket ship.
Yeah, the AL Central, let's see. Detroit has the best record in the American League. Seattle's second. Cleveland is third. All three of them ahead of the Yankees.
Cleveland's an anomaly. They're a minus 23 with that record.
Wow.
And they have only scored 131 runs to get that record. So I think Cleveland, the wheels will eventually cut. You cannot continue this the way they are.
Or are they efficient?
Well, if they're efficient, hire them for a company. But in baseball, you kind of want to win. So
now I know we haven't played. We're almost up to 40 games, so it's getting interesting. But Oakland, Sacramento A's are messing up people's predictions for the year. They have a 19-16 record and are in second place.
Not messing up my predictions.
You picked them for what?
Wild card.
There's not any person listening to this podcast that would believe that.
You could put that bet right now on FanDuel, and I bet you it would pay out pretty darn good right now. Between the A's and Cleveland, they are a combined they're minus 23 and minus 22. So both of them are either a good bullfighter with the red cloth fooling everybody, or they're going to get they're going to feel the horns here.
Here's what that means.
Too much under the run differential thing.
No, I'm not.
There's been some games that are just gargantuanly blown out.
You're right. Right now, you're correct. But it is traditionally true that if you're a playoff team, you have a positive run differential. Teams that make the playoffs, which has happened with a negative run differential, are talked about, and they are an anomaly. So
yeah, but right now what it means is you win a lot of close games.
Correct.
And when you lose, who cares? It's 9-0 in the second inning anyway.
I also agree with that. But again, this is when I put my batter 5 together, this is what I look at. And I know we're not 40 games in, so we're not even into it. So you can have a minus and be okay. But I'm telling you, Cleveland isn't going to be a minus. We're not going to be 50 games in the season with Cleveland a minus 50. And then having a 20, a 40 and 20 record or something like that.
Right.
Hey, the Kansas City Royals discovered the home run this last weekend. They're 8-2 in the last 10. That's a team that's heating up.
They're
heating up like hotcakes.
They're a team that I like because they're pitching. The runs allowed as a team is very low. That always impresses me because you can always win with that. Like the teams that are scary to me are the ones that we've allowed 170 runs, like the Athletics, and we still have a winning record.
Or the Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks are also a little bit scary when it comes to that. They've scored a lot, but they've allowed a lot of runs. They haven't figured out pitching, even though we have 17 of them, apparently. So that's what we're looking at this week for baseball. And the nice thing is, You'll see our batter 5 on battersports.com. Check out the stories, and we'll see who makes it into the 5 next week. Sadly, a lot of these teams are going to be repeat offenders. I'm sorry to say. There are some teams that really are good at this, and then we'll have an end-of-the-year swing batter award. I like to look at the money. You know, Baltimore and Texas has spent a lot of money to be on that list for this week.
But we should, I mean, like, I'm glad you put your little imprimatur there that this is your opinion.
Of course, it's my opinion. If you want to make a list.
This is your batter 5 for the week.
Yeah.
Right?
For the week.
Yeah.
For the week.
Well, the Rockies won twice. I don't know how they're number 1.
I think they won 2 in a row, didn't they?
Yeah.
They've earned it. They're still pathetically
I don't
terrible.
remember who they beat. I think it was the Giants.
That's correct.
Team they beat is
they beat the Braves and they beat the Giants. They beat 2 different teams, one after the other. Todd, the reason why they're still there is they're 2-8 in the last 10, and they're almost a -90, which is so impressive to me this early in the season.
But at what point does it become picking on, like, people who you should not pick on?
Nope. I'm here to...
Like, you should not pick on these types of kids.
If Colorado Rockies had a GM issued to them by the federal government, and this is why the team is this way, then I would be not picking on them. But they actually signed a general manager. They have a manager. They have a hitting coach. They pay all of those people. And you feel bad that all of those people, including the players that they pay, and they signed one player to like a 6-year deal who's not performing, and we're supposed to feel bad?
Isn't losing its own punishment? Must we pile on?
The only way the Rockies get any better is by them being on our site, being shamed. It's the only way out is through. You cannot get better by hiding underneath the covers.
Welcome to Batter Sports. We're the public stocks of baseball.
Yes.
Just strap them in and throw the tomatoes, folks. There you go.
We'll hand out the rotten tomatoes and we'll put up the logos and you swing right away. You ready to play?
I still want to buy the Pirates so we can put Clemente back up on the wall.
Seriously. You ready to play the game of whip?
We should put in that song, Watch Me Whip and Watch Me Nay Nay.
Poor dad.
And then we get...
I was thinking the other song, the party song back in the day. I can't even think of it now. I was like, you threw me off with your whip song.
Whip the Nay Nay, baby.
So, Charlie Morton is still aggressively going after this record. And I say aggressive because you got to have a certain innings pitched. I just do all players. But he did have another start. And the good news for Charlie is he was still bad. So he's still where you want him to be from a whip perspective. Charlie Morton of the Baltimore Orioles, by the way, he's signed. They have another pitcher, the Baltimore Orioles, that they don't even pitch, Kyle Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
He's a veteran. He is so high on this list. I was going to give honorable mention to him. Yeah, it's really quite sad when I look at this. Kyle Gibson for Baltimore he started 2 games.
What stat are you looking at?
I'm just going to look at the whip. But
okay,
Kyle Gibson started 2 games. I'm sure he got hurt because he's a veteran, or they sent him away, or they just paid him to leave. He started 2 games. He had a 14.09 ERA. He's 0-1, so he didn't lose 2 games. He had a 2.48 whip before he was sent to the bench. Now, his innings do not qualify him to be on my list. However, Charlie Morton of the Baltimore Orioles does. He pitched another game, so he's up to 27 2/3 innings. He has started now. He's pitched in 8 games. He started 5, so they now have him coming out of the bullpen. So they're trying to salvage this contract. That's what I'm seeing. Baltimore's trying to salvage it. The pitching coach, everyone's working together. He now has an ERA of a 9.76 and a whip of a 2.20, which means when you're losing 5-0, you should see Charlie Morton come out of the bullpen. That's the only time you should see Charlie Morton. If you're ahead 5-2, if he comes out of the bullpen, your whole team is like, we're going to lose the game. Here comes Charlie. And I believe he's getting paid $15 million by Baltimore. So Baltimore has so many pitchers on this list, it's embarrassing. They just love.
My problem is when I filter by whip, when I come up with just a bunch of pitchers who've only pitched like 1 inning.
Yeah, you got to go to page 2 and then 3 and then So Charlie Morton leads the league. I mean, that's just amazing. He has the most innings, 27. He's not starting anymore, so I can see him
Dear God.
falling out of it, but he has a 2.2. The next guy is our guy from Colorado.
Wait a second. At what point does somebody drive up to Charlie Morton and, like, run over his foot and put him on the DL?
The question for Baltimore with Kyle Gibson, because if you look at contracts, Kyle Gibson's a veteran who's getting paid, I believe, over $10 million, and I believe Charlie Morton's 15. How much money is Baltimore going to pay to send these old veterans that they got to help them win a division away forever? Because this is like the Bumgarner situation the Diamondbacks had, the Russ Ortiz situation. But the problem is they're getting one of those car accidents on a freeway. They have too many of these in 1 year. You're only supposed to have like one in a year. You're not supposed to have like a group of them. You shouldn't have a
this is when you get dropped by your auto insurer.
And you can't send those guys to the minors to work it out. Their contract doesn't allow it. So you either have to cut him and eat the payroll, or my solution is he gets disabled.
Right.
And then you can bring a pitcher up to take his place. And that eventually that's where all these guys end up on the disabled list.
Yeah, that is a true point. So who's going to take the lead of everybody right now is our lovely guy from Colorado, Antonio. Antonio is still he's still starting games, so that gives me a lot of hope. Let's just start with that. He has now pitched in 7 games as a starter. He is 1-5. Now, 1-5 on any other team would be terrible, but let us remind you, the Colorado Rockies have 6 wins. He has one of those wins. He is not only a starter, he's one of your aces. That's what I would argue. His ERA is a 5.5, which is respectable for the Colorado Rockies. His whip is a 1.86, considering where he started. That has really come down. He's respectable. I would be very happy and proud to have him on my Colorado Rockies staff, and if they don't start him every game, I'd be every time he's ready to start, I'd be very disheartened.
Do you think Colorado goes to a 4-man rotation?
It doesn't matter. Then you just burn them out. Why don't you just bring up minor leaguers and go to a 7-man rotation?
Jeez. I mean, you're talking about the people who are getting better, or are you talking about, like, I mean, your man of your international man of mystery, German Marquez. He's sitting on a 9.9.
The Colorado Rockies are pretty impressive. Yes, that's correct. I'm trying to see where did Jermaine go? His whip went down though, right?
It's a 1.97.
Oh, how did I miss him? Oh, this is disheartening.
The 30 innings pitched.
You know the thing that's mind-boggling about this? These are professionals. Brendan said professionals running the team, professional baseball players. It's not like in high school when you got a team that's got really good players and another team's only going to win 1 game all year because the kids just started.
You're just pulling from who's in the district.
I know. You go to school here. We need 3 more players. I don't even own a glove. I don't care. You're on a team. But that's not what's happening here. And they're playing like it.
Todd, there's 8 billion people on the planet.
We just need a pitcher.
You gotta find. All you gotta find are 5 starters.
They could hold a tryout on a weekend for people living in Denver, and they get the guys who just played in college come out and try out. They probably could find some fairly decent players.
Yeah, like that movie with Mark Wahlberg when he joined the Eagles.
Yes, that was a great, fantastic movie. Ron Popeil.
Why don't they go to India and get one of those cricket guys?
Why don't they have a spring training? Why don't they have a minor league system? I mean, they have all of these things.
Yeah, but that's not working.
So, like, what's the talent advisor? I mean, what kind of data collection are they using? What system do they have in place that is an absolute failure? I could argue all of it. All of it is failing them. It's all crumbling around them, and that's the way that it looks. Todd, you have Jermaine. You want to read Jermaine's stats? Because you have a page that I did not print. So I appreciate you giving me Jermaine's stats because I believe he's a little bit worse than Antonio.
Yeah, so he's started 7 games. He's got 30 innings pitched. He's a 9.9 ERA.
Does he have any wins? I thought he had 1.
He has 0 wins and 6 losses.
Okay, so he's kind of your 4th in the rotation.
He's got he's allowed 47 hits in 30 innings.
Mm.
Combine that with 12 walks, and you're looking at a whip of 197.
Yep. Now we'll do it.
Opponents are averaging 362 against him.
Antonio has an average of 380 against it.
And to be honest, like, you could hit some parlays.
Reese Wickerson, you in that?
Isn't Detroit rolling into Colorado here?
So you have two starting pitchers who average above 360. If you hit
imagine having to play against a team and you tell the starter the average batting average on his team is 380. You go, oh gosh, I'm not. No, it's the pitcher that lets them hit 380.
Who else they have starting here? They've got those two guys.
If they batting 380 against the guys, his on base percentage got to be over 500, right? I mean,
there's always men on base.
Every other man gets on
I'm on MLB.com and I'm looking for the opponent's on base percentage, and it's been redacted.
Colorado paid them off.
There's a black mark.
I have
like the Kennedy files.
I have a marketing idea for the Colorado Rockies. So the Colorado Rockies,
it's obscene.
No, the Colorado Rockies. You know how if you hit a home run or a grand slam in this inning, you get like a free tacos, or if you scored over 10 runs. Yeah. If you go and you pitch a 1-2-3 inning, and you're on the Rockies, you get a free soft taco from Taco Bell.
That's right.
Has that happened this season?
That's what needs that's the promotion that we need to have. So people go to the Rockies games and they're like, "Oh, we're so close. 1-2. Oh, hit."
If they get 6 men out in a row, you get a car.
You get a car. Oh, the poor Rockies fans. A couple other pitchers of note for the whip besides Colorado. Pittsburgh has a lovely individual on here. Miami has a lovely. None of these are shockers. And they've pitched quite a few innings, over 20. So we have a couple guys that are coming up here on the Cleveland's got somebody, and I think the last one that I have over 20 here is a Texas Ranger. But all of them have high ERAs, whips, what have you. But those are teams that are not shocking as we follow the game of whip. I apologize, I didn't get Jermaine, but it's an interesting time to be a pitcher in today's baseball, considering when I look at the bad pitchers, especially bad starters that have, when you look at the average against the pitcher, I would like to think that you need to remove technology because they're tipping their pitches. Like at this point, the advantage, they have to remove technology for these pitchers. The other pitchers, they can use it, the good ones. But these ones, it's like you're batting 325 against this pitcher.
True, because they're going back and just hopping on the iPads and studying these guys frame by frame, and they're looking at everything, and it's crazy.
And if you're Charlie Morton, you've been in the league a long time, and you're like, I don't even care. Yeah, it's a fastball. Yeah, it's a curveball. I'm so tired of these kids all reading my pitches. This is really frustrating.
All I know is twice a month there's a huge direct deposit into the account.
I do have a question for you. There's some pitchers that came up that I had questions for because I didn't see what happened to them. But Marcus Stroman, who pitches for the Yankees,
I remember him.
He's only started 3 games, but he's got an 11
positive attitude. That one.
He's got an 11.57 ERA and he's got a WHIP of a 2.04. And I'm pretty sure, only pitching 9 1/3, he was whisked off to the minor leagues, or he has some kind of an injury.
Yeah, that's what it is, an injury.
Did Marcus Stroman, is he the pitcher who wore a rag wrapped around his head? The Diamondbacks announcer got suspended for 2 games for commenting on that. I think he called it a do-rag or something like that. And they suspended him for saying that. Because he had a right to wear it around his head, I guess.
Well, when he left the Mets, said he would never sign with the Mets. He said they were a garbage organization. And to which I will say, who's got the 11.57 ERA now, Marcus?
Yeah, we cleaned it up. We got rid of the garbage.
Hey, by the way, the Rockies have pitched a 1-2-3 inning 3 times.
In the season.
In the season.
I'm telling you, is that not a great giveaway? That is a great giveaway. That is
March 29th at the Rays in the 9th inning. It has to be
at home, Todd. How many times did you do it at home?
Once. April 28th versus the Braves.
Once.
On Mejia.
That
He retired the side. He retired
Can't
the
believe
side with 2 Ks.
I cannot believe that. They
That-
played 15 games at home.
alone
They
is-
played 15 games at home. This happened once. That is the best promotion idea. Colorado Rockies, you can have it. I don't even want any credit for it. You can give away you should give away 3 soft tacos for the 1, 2, 3 inning.
Slurpees at 7-Eleven.
That would be like if the Cardinals don't ground into a double play in a game. After I watched that one game and I was like, man, they love double plays here. You get a double play. Everybody on the other team gets a double play. That one time at home, a 1, 2, 3 inning. That is a crazy stat.
Assuming it's true.
I hope it's true. I pray it's true.
But I've got 3. It would seem to me there would be more readily available examples.
It's the Rockies are historic. This is historic.
That seems mathematically impossible.
One would think that, except when one realizes when they look at the pitcher staffs that opponents are batting Ted Williams level numbers.
I just saw a YouTube of some fat guy came in the 8th inning throwing 50-mile-an-hour fastballs, and he had a 1, 2, 3 inning.
That was great. 7 pitches.
Did the Rockies trade for him?
They should have.
Did they immediately call? Remember the Moneyball
What's his
scene?
name?
I want
Oh
that
my
guy.
gosh.
I want him.
Astadio or something like that. He looked like, I thought it was Bartolo Colon.
Hopefully Bartolo Colon is better at pitching. Since we're talking about the Rockies, let's go to strikeouts. This is a stat we like to follow at swingbatter.com.
Are we still on the
Batters,
Rockies?
well, Todd, the Rockies had
This team's like a vending machine that broke and everything's
is
just
like-
pouring out.
This is like working in a morgue studying the body.
remember the Rockies had 2 players that were leading everyone in strikeouts?
Oh, yeah. The first baseman and third baseman.
Well,
Power and hitting position.
you'll be happy to know that only one has kept his title. The other one has dropped down. So Michael, the first baseman of the Colorado Rockies, is still leading in strikeouts with 48. He's batting 197.
Mm-hmm.
He has played in 33 games. Ryan, who has the long extended contract, is now sitting tied for 3rd. He's really fallen out of the love here. He has 44 strikeouts. It's his average.
4 different.
His average is what I want you to note. He's batting 165.
Yeah.
So 160.
Picked him up in fantasy baseball.
This is why the Rockies have a bad spring training in minor leagues. Their pitchers go out and pitch against their hitters. So their hitters feel really confident because they're hitting against their pitchers. And the pitchers feel pretty confident because they're getting more outs than they usually do. Then they play another team. And it's
Right.
like, oh, that's how a major league pitcher pitches. Oh, I don't know if I can hit that. And the pitchers pitching against major leaguers is like, oh, these guys can hit everything. Our guys can't hit any of this stuff. I mean, this is epic. So Austin Riley of the Atlanta Braves has moved solely into second place with 45 strikeouts. But he's batting .290, which is totally acceptable. No one's going to have a problem with that. Byron Buxton of the Minnesota Twins, the center fielder, who's excellent, he has .260. He has 44 strikeouts. And Mr. Devers. Mr. Devers.
He got off to a fast start with the strikeouts.
He has 44, but his average has now gone up to .250. Of these 5 individuals,
Yeah.
What is the most home runs out of all of them? What's the highest?
I'll bet you Ryan McMahon's got like 6.
Okay, you're a little light. Dad, you want to give me a guess of who had the most home runs in this list?
I think it's McMahon. Probably has 5 or 6.
So the 2 Rockies are the lowest. They each have 3.
Oh, God.
So not only do they hit for not
I'd have
average,
known because they don't hit. They have no runs.
Austin,
if you
who's
hit a home
batting
run, you
.290.
score.
He's batting .290. He has 8 home runs. Byron has 7, and then Devers has 5. So the Rockies have 3. So combined, they would only beat Mr. Devers.
Didn't Rafael Devers throw a temper tantrum in Boston because he was like, I'm not playing, I'm not going to move from third or something like that? Or was that the other one?
It's possible. There's some notable players that I'm a little concerned with. We're into the season a little bit. Matt Chapman. You may remember him. He's played very well. Everyone likes him. He had a grand slam recently. He's batting 198, and he has 40 strikeouts.
What did he do?
He's playing for the Giants.
Oh, there you go.
Luis Roberts of the White Sox. So he'll play all year, but he's batting 195 with 43 strikeouts. These are notable players that I'm worried about because the average is below 200 and we have a lot of Ks, a lot of strikeouts.
Yeah.
Suarez for the Diamondbacks. He's batting 189 and he's got 38 strikeouts.
Don't forget 7 errors.
Holy cow. That's a bad combination.
Yeah, but he's a nice guy.
Oh, I'm sure he's just the nicest.
He loves his mother.
We already talked about Mike Trout.
He's got 10 home runs.
He does. He hit him in 3 games.
That is
a
little exaggeration, but I think he hit him in like 6 games.
Well, he probably had the 38 strikeouts in 12 games.
No, he's good for a couple every night.
We all know about Mike Trout, who hasn't played, so he's still 179. And who else do we have on this list? These guys are not.
Taylor Ward, he's also a pretty highly touted outfielder.
Yeah, Taylor Ward of the Angels, 176 with 36 strikeouts.
Oh, listen, O'Neal Cruz for Pittsburgh?
Yep. Not good.
Wilson Contreras for the Cardinals. I mean, that guy's got some power, too.
Oh, Contreras, what a terrible... That signing is...
Christian, don't yell at me, Yelich.
Oh, that's a contract. That's a swing batter contract.
It is.
That is a swing...
At 210.
You know what happened to him? Injuries. He was playing...
Which happened to occur right after he signed the big contract.
And that injury was a freak injury similar to Mike Trout's, but his was really, really freakish when he fouled that ball and broke his kneecap.
Yeah,
that was a brutal injury. And that took him a long time to get back. He's still not, I would say he's still not back, but he's a lot better than he used to be.
Yeah, Anthony Don't Bank at Santander for Toronto. He's batting a cool 178.
I think Toronto's going to make my batter 5. The way that they're really playing, it makes me question why they signed Vlad Guerrero Jr. Because they're just not, I don't have a whole lot of hope in Toronto.
Well, $500 million will say a lot. Hey, there's Tommy, I love the fans fam.
Oh, he's with Pittsburgh. I was going to say the Penguins.
Yeah, batting 182 with 32 strikeouts.
So that's those are the news stories that I have that I looked at baseball this week and was like, this is interesting. I think the Colorado Rockies continue to give us a wealth of information for swing batter and for swing batter fans. Luckily for us, I don't think we really spent a lot of time on the bottom team, the Baltimore Orioles. I think if the Baltimore Orioles played the Texas Rangers, that would solve 2 problems at one time. Either a team would get better at pitching or the team would get better at hitting. But the Rangers can't hit and the Orioles can't pitch, so if they faced each other, something's got to give.
Let's hear it for parity, though. Every division has a 3-team race right now within 2 games of each other.
Yeah, and we're about almost 25% of the season done.
Yeah.
One of the shocking things that I noticed about when I look at run differential, the Padres have allowed only 95 runs. And there's I don't believe there's even a close second to that. I mean, that is a really silly stat. If you think about like 95 allowed, I think the next one is 114 maybe, 112. The Mets have 112, which is excellent. If you think about 112 right now, you're like, that's a really good number.
Right.
But 95 is, and they've only scored 133, so they have a great record, but their offense, 133 is not a lot of runs for that offense. And they usually start slow. So that pitching staff for the Padres ain't got nobody on my whip list. Zip.
Well, they're all learning from Paul Skeens.
From the Pirates?
Yeah.
Just so you know, something to keep an eye on, everybody. The Rockies have allowed 100 more runs than the Padres.
Interesting.
And the Marlins, a little bit more with 201. The Marlins are literally batting practice. There are some teams that you play that you should just, your average should go up, your home runs, your RBIs, your runs. There should be teams that we qualify. Like Aaron Judge, when he plays these teams, will he have 20 home runs and like 40 RBIs when he plays like Miami and he plays like the Rockies? Because now that everybody plays everybody, that would be an interesting stat to follow, is like, where do these players get all their good stats? Because when you get to the playoffs, you don't play Miami and you don't play the Rockies, which is our point about why good hitters tend to struggle, because you're not playing against the crappy teams to pad your stats. Now, Aaron Judge is having a great year, an incredible year.
Well, he's not padding the stats against
But
anybody.
when he plays those teams with this kind of like locked in, he is locked in. So if you're a Rockies pitcher and everybody averages 380, does Aaron Judge average 780 against you? Like, is he 8 for 10?
He might.
Can't wait for that series. In fact, I saw a note from a Yankee fan. He said that he got 2 tickets to the Yankees game for $6. He's going in Denver.
Oh, yeah. That'll do it.
I'm shocked that if they do this 3-inning thing, they're going to raise the prices. Those soft tacos are not cheap anymore.
You guys are Diamondbacks fans.
That is correct.
Can you explain to me these stupid City Connect uniforms you guys keep pumping out? It's like, can I have a worse color of teal?
That's the original.
I don't pay any attention to uniforms.
How do you look away? They look like giant grape. They look like, yeah, that's what they look like. They look like they walked out of Willy Wonka's factory.
Talk about uniforms. I just had to explain to my wife the other night that she really likes their white uniforms. I said, they only can wear those at home. You can't wear white on the road. And she was impressed that I had that kind of fashion knowledge.
Well, hockey's the opposite. I only wear white on the road.
That's correct.
Wow, see that?
Imagine my confusion.
Yeah.
Well, nowadays, with these Serpentites City Connect uniforms, they've got this bright purple.
It's just the way they try to make money. Sadly, the Diamondbacks have nobody who's connected to the city of Phoenix.
I don't even understand, why are they the Serpentites? It's not even spelled right.
Well, it's just Mexican.
Serpientes. I don't. Notice they don't have a City Connect uniform for the Yankees. I'll say that about New York. The Yankees won't mess with that.
The Yankees changed their facial hair rule.
They did.
Can you imagine if they had
What's
a City
allowed
Connect
now
for the Yankees?
They can have facial hair.
Beards?
Yeah.
Boy, there's a guy on the Phillies that I'd like to get that guy in a barber shop and
Brandon Marsh.
Oh.
Brandon Marsh looks like he came out of a cave, hadn't showered in years.
I think he smears butter on his hair before every game just to keep it matted down.
Yeah.
He greases
He kind of reminds me of that caveman that did the insurance ads.
The Geico ads.
Maybe that's who he is. I don't know.
He's looking at.
Well, yeah, I think I sent you guys this. Did you see the stat that there's one player in all of baseball that has over 200 home runs, something with the batting average, and has been hit by a pitch over 200 times? It's Bryce Harper.
Wow.
Really?
It's being hit by the pitch 200 times that tips it off. But Brennan, to your point, they will if they ever do a City Connect for the Yankees, you might burn Manhattan to the ground.
And that's, again, it's just part of, like, have you seen the City Connect for the Dodgers, for instance? Do they have one? I'm trying to think if they have one, because the Dodgers are another one of those, like, brands that you're like, do they have?
I don't even know what it means.
They just try to sell more jerseys out of it.
I think but I think the Cubs have one.
Oh, that would be, yeah.
Do the Cubs have a City Connect?
I'm looking right
Everybody
now.
go to your Google machine and look it up.
Oh, you want to hear?
You
want to hear the 2 teams that don't have it, according to my search?
What's that?
The New York Yankees and the Oakland A's. And the A's lack a city. That's what
I was going to say that have to be plural for the A's cities.
that's what we're looking at.
Well,
So the Dodgers do as well.
it would just confuse you if the A's had one because you just think it was a regular jersey.
Oh, Lord have mercy. The SACs now? Yep, all these other teams have done it every year, even Boston.
Oh, the Boston ones are horrid.
So the only ones that have not are the Yankees and Oakland/Sacramento.
The Boston City Connect are abysmal.
I can tell you why the A's didn't do it. They probably couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
They're like, we already have 3 jerseys. Why do we need to build or buy more? That's going to cost us money.
We can't stock it. We can't stock it up.
And if they go to Vegas and they become the Vegas A's, that City Connect jersey should light up when they make it out. When they catch the ball, it just lights up. Like you won in the casino, you know?
Spotlights all over the place.
Just
Rockies should have that today.
if they make it out.
If they get a guy out,
20.
By the way, have you noticed with this show that every time we meet and talk, that somehow the Seattle Mariners escape any attention whatsoever on anything we do? It's like the team doesn't exist and they're sitting in first place.
Well, they're doing good. They're not swing batter focused because they're doing well, and they're not doing good enough. I mean, they're plus 29, 8-2. They're doing great.
But it's like,
They're having a legit run right now. And they faced against the A's. Yeah, we should focus on Seattle. You guys should do that. I always focus on the teams that are struggling, whips, strikeouts.
that's kind of what we do. Kind of like
The batter 5.
we
And right now, if you were going to say which are the hottest teams, I mean, you want to put together the hottest baseball teams in baseball. I know there's top 10 lists that are rolling around. I'm sure you can get a top 5 of who you think are the hottest.
yeah, everybody does that. We can leave that to them.
the Mariners City Connect aren't bad. They look like some 1970s, it's got some fashion sense to it.
The one team I'm happy about watching them suffer this year so far has been Houston.
Well,
They're struggling out of the gate.
when Houston loses, everybody else wins.
Well, you know who doesn't lose?
It's coming.
Mom jeans. Old Navy never loses when the Houston Astros are in town.
That's true.
All right, guys, I don't have anything else. Dad, you got anything?
No, it's an excellent discussion.
I appreciate the stats. Let's hope Mike Trout gets healthy and can come back his normal self. Let's see who ends up on the batter 5 next week. But until then, enjoy City Connect jerseys. Todd loves them, loves the Diamondbacks. Dad, as always, we'll see you on rounding third.
Go Mariners. We got to bring in all our Mariner fans.
We are Swing Batter, and you can check us out on battersports.com. And also, subscribe, give us comments. Check us out. I'm Brendan. That's Todd. That's my dad. Thanks, everybody.
See you later.